Hey everyone, my name is Ian and I moved to Berlin about a year and a half ago. And in this video today, I'm going to talk through this process of getting your phone set up when you move to the city for the first time. Now, if you were like me about a year and a half ago, you show up here and you're like, all I want is my phone to work. I don't understand German. I don't understand German people. I don't understand German websites. I don't want to get stuck in some long contract or something that I don't understand in case my job doesn't work out, in case I get deported or something. So today I'm going to walk through how I got my phone set up, how I recommend you get your phone set up when you move here. I have no vested interest. I don't work for any phone company or anything like that. I'm just answering this question that I had about a year and a half ago when I moved here from the big US of A. So without further ado, I'm going to be super structured about this. Let's talk about it. I have 4 questions that I'm going to go through. The first one, how do I find a German phone service provider? Second question, how do I unlock my phone, which is necessary so that you can actually use that German phone service provider? Thirdly, how do I keep my old phone number in case I ever move back to where I'm coming from, or I get deported, or I find myself sad and alone in Berlin, which you might. Then lastly, what do I do with my plan if I ever want to go back to the US to visit family for the holidays? So without further ado, let's jump into this first question. How do you get set up with a German phone service provider? So the first decision to make when you get here is what type of plan do you want? Do you want a pay-as-you-go month by month plan? Or do you want a year-long or 2-year-long contract type of plan? And when I got here for the first time, I was scared. And I was like, no way, do I want to sign in for a super long thing? I don't know how I'm going to be here, if it's going to work out, you know? And so I really was opting for a pay-as-you-go type of plan. Looking back, things ended up just fine. And so maybe that was a bit rash of me to make that decision. I think it would have been fine to go with a 2-year-long plan. And the trade-off that you're really making when you do this is about with the customer service that you're getting from these companies. I think the year-long plans, you can look to services like O2 or Vodafone. These are UK or larger, more international companies that have English customer support that can help you with whatever you need. If you compare this to the pay-as-you-go type of plans, most of them are local or regional or German, and so otherwise their English customer support isn't as good, so you will have to put up with their portal, put up with all these things, but what you get in return is the ability to pay as you go per month, which is what I really wanted when I got here. So my recommendation for the pay-as-you-go plan is really to use this one called Aldi Talk. And what this requires is that you go to Aldi, which is the name of the big supermarket, and in their cash register at the very front, you can go and you can get buy SIM cards, and you put this SIM card in your phone, and that's how you can use and connect to the German phone network that they have. What I recommend there is the large package, and this is $17.99 per month, which I find very reasonable, especially when compared to other year-long contracts. And so yeah, that's what I would recommend, is to use this Aldi Talk, and you access it by going to the nearest grocery store. This brings us to the next question. How do you actually get your phone unlocked so you can use it with the SIM card that you just bought? And basically this whole concept of a phone being unlocked or locked was new to me when I first moved here. But basically your phone, usually when you buy it in the US, or sometimes you're locked onto your old plan, and that you actually need to go ask your phone service provider. For me, it was AT&T, to unlock your phone so that you can use a different phone service provider. So for me, it required that I called my parents and I asked them to take me off the family phone plan so that then I could have a new phone plan here in Germany. This took a few days for AT&T to figure out and ultimately to unlock my phone so I could use it here. So keep in mind, it may take longer than you are expecting or than you really want. Once your phone is officially unlocked, then you can go through the process of taking the SIM card out of the little package that you got it in and putting the SIM card actually into the phone. So if I show you my phone here, basically there's this little cartridge on the side that looks right here. I can't tell if you can see it very well, but it's placed, it's placed here on your phone. And basically you use a tack or a needle or something else, or a paper clip to put into the thing to then pop out the tray. And then that's where you put your actual SIM card. And one other thing to note about after you make this change and you put in the new SIM card, after this, you'll see your iMessage still remains from before. So conversations that you've had, you will still be able to see them in your phone. But if you continue them or you respond to people, you will be texting from a new number now that your phone is different. So now that you've unlocked it, you have a new carrier, a new SIM card, your phone will look different. So if you call people, your phone will have a different phone number, but your iMessage or your history is going to stay in your phone. So you could text someone and say, oh, hey, and it could be in the same conversation, but then people say, who is this? But it's because for them, it looks like it's in a new chat because it's a new number that's texting them. So it could be a little confusing at the start. I was a little confused when I saw my old iMessage, but then still had people texting me, who is this? And so that's why they remember you, they still love you, you just have a new phone number. And this brings us to the third question. How is it that you keep your old phone number in case you still want to be notified when people that have your old contacts saved reach out to you? Now, this is something that of course everyone will want to do. And the service I found that can help you do this is called Google Voice. And what it allows you to do is go through this process of porting your old number so that when people reach out to you, you can still get notified via email. And basically, I went through this process. You go through all the steps that they have on the Google Voice online portal, and then your phone number is saved and you'll be notified, and things are all good in case you ever want to move back where you came from and you want to have that old number once again. So I'd really recommend doing that as well. And this brings us to the final question, the fourth question. What do you do if you ever want to travel around Europe or you want to go back to the United States with your phone? What should you know when you're using the Aldi Talk plan for the conditions of travel? And to answer this question, I first will answer and talk about Europe. If you want to travel around Europe, there are these prepaid extensions that you can do for data, so you can use it anywhere you go in Europe. And I've found these extensions to be pretty reasonable, and they've lasted me and don't cost too much. It's €5 for an extension, and what you'll need to do is continually sort of update when you run out of data on these extensions that you might have when you go elsewhere in Europe. So that's what I recommend for traveling around Europe. For traveling back to the US, they do have an Aldi Talk extension for going to the US called the Worldwide Data Plan or something like this, but I don't recommend that you use it because it's so small that you'll run out of it and have to renew it so much that it just doesn't make sense from a cost perspective. And I know because I did this, I went back 2 times in the past year and ended up paying a whole bunch of money for my phone plan, and it was a huge hassle. So what I would recommend is to do something different, and when you go back to the US, actually buy another prepaid phone plan from T-Mobile or from something when you go back to the US. And this is what I did the most recent time I went back, and it ended up being so much more cost effective to do this instead of paying for these additional purchases with Aldi through their portal or thing or whatever. What this actually looks like is I went into Best Buy and I asked, oh, what's your cheapest prepaid phone service for the time that I'm here for the next month? And then I will buy that SIM card, put it in my phone, use it for the month, and then I'll put my old Aldi Talk SIM card back in my phone. So we'll have to take the SIM card out, put it back in, and go through that hassle, but I found that it's well worth it, and these US SIM cards, they work better in the US than Aldi Talk did for me when I was there. So it just sort of makes more sense. So with that last tip, that just about does it for everything I had to share and talk about today. I want to end with a note by just saying that you can do it, and all this logistics stuff that you have to go through, the figuring out the credit card, the getting the bank account, the getting your housing, all this stuff is just this tax that we all have to pay when we move to a different city, and we just want to figure it out and live there. And so I think this tax is sort of well worth it when you think about all the other benefits that you have from moving to a place like Berlin. So if you're questioning your life decision and you're thinking, God, why did I do this to myself? I want to assure you that it is worth it, and with time, it will be more and more worth it. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more content like this, you know where to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.